Twitch. We're here. Say hello to Brian. Hi, Brian.
What's up,
Hey!
Twitch? Hi, Brian.
All right, so Justin, are you recording?
Hey, it's me.
Yes, I'm recording.
All right. I assume everybody else is recording as well. So what we are going to do is we're going to count down from 3, and then we're all going to clap.
Wait, no, come here. I dropped the.
Wow,
I
Brian,
dropped the,
you're already being called out in the Twitch chat. How does that make you feel?
Oh, jeez. Hold on.
I dropped the
Let me
blue screen on my cat.
that.
God.
It's just EP. You're fine.
Oh!
Come here. Okay, you're okay. You're okay.
That is very upsetting to me.
All right,
It's
we're
just a
gonna-
special effect. It can't.
Justin, are you ready to count down?
It's offensive.
Justin, are you with us?
Hang on. I'm here. Hang on. That's better.
That's
okay.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better.
Well, good. Now I'm slightly green.
That's okay.
There's no winning.
So we got green tomato Justin and we got red tomato Justin. All right,
Perfect.
Justin and crew, we are going to count down and we are going to clap in 3, 2.
Whoa.
All right, special guest Brian, where were you at?
8:55.
All right, Steve
10:04.
and Justin.
And I never realized how much I miss recording with Audacity. I could actually see the spikes at the exact moment.
I missed your time though. You cut out right as you were saying your time.
7:06.
Yeah, see, this is what you need, Justin. Come back to the Windows side. Although Brian is a Mac person apparently.
Oh,
so
God.
listen to
Yeah.
him.
I can't do it.
PC Master Race.
All right, let's get rolling. Let me find my music. I think that Lucas
Still need to
is
find a
bringing us
background
in.
anyway.
Nope, Steve's bringing us in. Let's make sure that the levels.
Ever wondered what's on the Infendo radio cutting room floor? Find out now for $10 a
Can you guys hear that, or is it too loud?
Uh,
Back sound in.
Brian,
I
how old are
think-
you?
How old am I?
Yes.
Somewhere between 15 and 40.
Eugene, is your original audio on?
My fiance
No.
wants to know whether she should be worried about you.
About me?
Yes.
Well, I'm married and I have 2 kids, so. I mean,
That doesn't answer my question.
sometimes.
Her ex-husband was married and had 2 kids, you know.
I'm gonna
well,
test this audio one more time. Where's my thing? And then we'll get started here. You guys
Ever
how's
wondered
the
what's on the
audio now?
Infendo
Where's
radio
the audio?
cutting room floor?
good.
Find out now for $10 a month over at
Okay, you guys can hear me okay over the
patreon.com/Infendo radio.
audio?
We put the we in wiener.
It's a little
Infendo
loud,
Radio
you're a
is
little-
on now.
How about now that it's leveled out and gotten lower? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, well, I would turn it down just a hair or sit closer to your mic.
Okay, well, let me turn the audio down.
Not sure which, or adjust your gain, I guess.
There's all kinds of things I can do, but I'm going to do that. And then we'll call it good.
Yes,
All right,
perfect.
so we're ready to go rock and roll. Let's get started.
Did anybody
Ever wondered what's on the Infendo radio cutting room floor? Find out now for $10 a month over at patreon.com/Infendo radio.
We put the we in wiener. Infendo Radio is on now.
Okay, I've literally heard too
Hello, everybody, and
Bunch of
welcome
seed
to
now.
Infendo Radio. This is episode number 495. It is time for Infendo Radio. We have a special guest with us tonight, too. Hi, Brian. Why don't you welcome yourself to the show and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Welcome me. Well, my name is Brian. I love long walks on the beach. I really love the crisp, refreshing taste of Red's apple ale in my Brianosaurus custom laser engraved glass. And I am actually almost out, so it's about time for a new one on break.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
this is all good things. I like this guy already. Steve, where do you like to take your walks, and what are you all about?
Holy shit. First we're putting the wee in wiener, and now we've got the fresh, crisp, refreshing taste of Red's apple ale. This is the
Yep.
perfect night.
Perfect show.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, how are you doing tonight? You're looking a little off color, but I like you anyways.
The touch, the feel of cotton. It's the fabric of our lives. Didn't know to contribute to the variety of catchphrases and slogans being thrown around. So, I'm trying to find a background at the moment.
If any of you guys want to sponsor us, head over to patreon.com/InfendoRadio.
That's damn right. Speaking of, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to be right back at you.
It always amused me that cotton, it's cotton.
Hi, Twitch. We're back. We're about ready to start up again. Here we go. Let me just find my audio.
So, yeah, I've determined that blue screen does not work as well as green screen, so I'm not using a virtual background right now.
You have to change in the Zoom settings, it's set to green.
I did.
Color. Oh, it doesn't work? Oh, well.
I selected the color of the screen right directly behind me, and it's too sensitive. Like, when it gets dark over there, it just doesn't read it.
Wow.
Could be the camera, too.
Sure. Okay, well, here we go.
Just run to Target and get a couple of more lamps so you can put them up.
Yeah, right. It's going to be you, Justin, so get ready for yourself.
Here at Infendo Radio, we've got game. If you'd like to give us suggestions for our games, go to patreon.com/Infendo Radio and pledge at the $2 level.
All right, we're back. Before we get too far, we'd like to say thank you to a few special people, our producers on Patreon. So we'd like to thank Andrew Searson, the Brianosaurus, hey, you're right there, Sky Pharaoh, and Phantom. Thank you for producing the show tonight. Also, it's your last week to enter the contest, so Steve's going to take us away and tell you a little bit about that.
Yep. So for this month, we've been doing a contest where if you're a $10 patron or higher, or if you're a subscriber to Twitch at the $4.99 level or higher, you get an entry each way to win a full set of Zelda amiibo cards. Did we decide that's 23 or 24? I've forgotten now.
I don't know. This is your project.
Regardless, though, it's a full set of Zelda amiibo, including Young Link from Smash Brothers. I made sure he was in there. So, last chance. The contest ends on basically midnight of the 31st at the end of the month. So I think that's Friday night. So if you're watching live, you still have time. If you're hearing this as we, do the regular show, I'm sorry, but we gave you 4 weeks. So actually, we gave you 6 weeks because we started it early. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, you tell him, Steve. But no, really, thank you for everybody that's joined the show and joined our Patreon and entered the contest and all of that fun stuff. We really appreciate it. That really helps to support the show. So, all right, well, we are going to get into the show proper. There was a Pokemon press conference yesterday out of nowhere. We learned about a bunch of weird things. Pokemon Sleep is a thing. Steve, do you want to kind of lead us into this Pokemon quest that we're about to enter? Because it's weird.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with Pokemon Sleep, which is probably the one that nobody
That's what I plan on doing.
About. It seems to be from what I can tell, it seems to be a counterpart to Pokemon Go, where if you're actually sleeping and getting sleep the way you're supposed to, you get benefits in game with it. They also announced, and I'm not making this up, I have Googled it multiple times on multiple sites to make sure this is accurate information, but there's also a sleep tracker that Nintendo is going to do that you can walk around with during the day, and it'll track your steps and spin Pokestops and yada yada. But then somehow it works at night to where it tracks your sleep, I assume by, sitting on your dresser by your phone or something, making sure your ass isn't on your phone.
They are going to make you buy a bracelet, Steve. You know they're going to make you buy something that you have to wear.
No, it's not a bracelet. It's a disc that somebody is holding in the video.
Nintendo's
so this is
R&D,
actually not a bracelet.
Nintendo's R&D for the vitality sensor rearing its ugly head yet again.
Yeah. So interesting, actually, that you should bring that up. According to EP in the chat, it uses an accelerometer. So basically just set it on your dresser at night and don't bother it. But it's actually called the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. That is 2 pluses in a row. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is.
It's amazing how Nintendo's going to make me spend another $40 on a stupid peripheral, but I'm going to do it.
Well, to be fair, Nintendo did
$40 and
Nintendo didn't make anything from the last peripheral you bought. That was third party.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering why it is that
to actually find one in stores.
Sure.
Well, yeah. I'm kind of wondering why it is that obviously it's a merchandising ploy to get somebody to buy another product, but I'm wondering why it is that they wouldn't hook it up with Apple Watches or with the Android watches or something like that. Because if for the guys who wear their watches at night while they sleep, I feel like that would be a much better option. It would track a little bit better.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I don't, but I used to back when my battery lasted long enough. And yeah, they have like sleep trackers in the Apple Watch, and I'm sure in other smartwatches. I don't know. Do other things exist that aren't Apple? I mean, back me up.
Well, I mean, I got an app on my phone to prove to my wife that I don't snore. So if I could get that,
actually, I have an app on my. I have an app on my phone that proved to me that I do, and it took a recording of it, as a matter of fact. So,
it sounded great.
So they'll probably add.
Do I get points in Pokemon Go for snoring?
Yes.
Jeez. They'll probably add functionality for Apple Watch like they did with the Adventure Sync. I'd be shocked if they
That's
didn't do
just
that.
what I was saying. They're going to try and get their money first with the peripheral, and then they'll add in the ability to sync with your like Fossil Watch or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's like the Apple Watch app didn't come out until, the Pokemon Go app didn't come out until months after the Pokemon Go Plus was out, and I fought tooth and nail to not get that thing because I knew there had to be something for Apple Watch eventually, and they did oblige.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to talk about on that one. I guess the next announcement that they did was Pokemon Detective Pikachu on the Switch.
Yeah.
Which, as I understood it, it actually seems to be a follow-up or a sequel, not necessarily a port, from what I was understanding.
Which is good for me because I just spent some of my my Nintendo Gold coins on the 30% discount for Detective Pikachu on the 3DS, and I would be very angry if if I had done that and then it came out on Switch where I would rather play it.
I know. I would have heard of it in the Discord for sure. But yeah, I'm excited about this one because I actually do have it on the 3DS, but I can't pull out my 3DS anymore, man. Like the only time I'll pull it out, and I still did this past year, is for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, because I would like to play that at least once a year, and that's the best version of it, until they bring that to the Switch. Right. 3DS is still getting good.
And Ocarina of Time is some of the best 3D on the system too.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, it's so great playing that game on an XL.
All I can say is it better have Amiibo support or I'm out. And we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have to buy the 2-foot tall Detective Pikachu amiibo.
Justin, with as big of a fan of Pikachu as I am, I had to buy the 2-foot tall Pikachu.
Have you ever met Steve?
I'm actually going to start looking for do you think our sponsor there can hook me up with the Detective Pikachu amiibo card? Because I'd go for one of those.
I'm sure he could. I'll have to order one of those with my Pokemon set. I'll find out.
Right.
Yeah, so that's probably all there is to talk about Pikachu. The next thing they announced is Pokemon Home. And I was pleasantly surprised to see this. Pokemon Home is the successor to Pokemon
to PlayStation Home?
No, that's a dead
so
thing.
Proud of himself.
No, but they're bringing Pokemon.
Damn this lag! My jokes
completely...
are not hitting right.
Well, yeah, but yeah, so they're bringing Pokemon Bank back, and it's going to be compatible with more than I actually would have thought. Pokemon Home is going to incorporate Pokemon Bank. It's going to incorporate Pokemon Go. It's going to incorporate, why can I not say that word? Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and Pokemon Sword and Shield. That is so much more than I could have hoped for. And if I read right, they are saying that you will be able to manage your Pokemon either on the Switch, on an app, or using an app on your phone.
I might actually invest in that now, because especially if you can share Pokemon between Pokemon Go and Let's Go and Generation, what are we on, 8? Like, if I can, like, basically trade my Pokemon around, like, if I can trade Pokemon from the Pokemon Yellow on my 3D. Like, if I can do all that, then that might actually be a worthwhile investment because it's not that expensive in the first place. It's like what, $5 a year?
Yeah, like a year. Yeah, it's really cheap.
Yeah, something like that. If not cheaper. I don't know. I think there's going to have to be a limitation somewhere, though. Because, like, with Pokemon Bank, you can only bring them forward to a generation. And once you've brought them from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Let's Go, you can't send them back that direction. So I'm sure there's going to be a god-awful flowchart that's going to come out right before this app comes out that explains what directions you can move your Pokemon. I don't think you're just going to be able to take a Pokemon from, Gen 7 and flip it over to Pokemon Go. I don't think that's ever going to be a possibility. I think you're going to be able to freely move them between Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think they'll build that functionality into it. But I think that once you bring them from Pokemon Bank or Pokemon Go forward, that's that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be able to go back because that's how it works already, and you can only do it one way, right?
Right.
So.
Right. And if you look at the diagram, you've got Pokemon Bank up here, you've got Pokemon Go up here, and they're in their own windows separately, right?
Apple.
And then Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, Sword and Shield are all in the same box. So that's why I'm thinking that as long as you're in those 4 games, you're going to be able to move them freely, no matter which way you want.
Eugene, feel free to edit all of my audio out of this. Steve's doing his Italian talk with the hands thing. It just reminds me of, I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple pen.
This episode's going to be a nightmare.
Well, let's move into the next one then, I guess, Steve, because this one actually had me excited. I think you're probably looking at the same list as I am, but are we moving into Pokemon Masters yet? Because that's the one I want to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that, because I know nothing about this other than it's also on the phones.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks like it's going to be another phone game, but this one is not a Niantic one. It's a DNA game. So that's that company that, Nintendo bought a few years ago or whatever. Or I don't know how that partnership went. But anyways,
Nintendo, I think Nintendo bought 50% of the company, and DNA bought an equal amount in shares of Nintendo or something like that. So like basically, or maybe Nintendo bought the entire company. I know that basically like it was an exchange of shares, but Nintendo ended up, with basically either all or most of DNA, and DNA ended up with a sliver of Nintendo.
Sure. Well, but in any case, this game looks like it's going to be really cool. Like, this is probably one of the first ones that I've really been interested in. The Animal Crossing game kind of like came and went, like whatever. But this one is Pokemon, man. Like, yeah, give me Pokemon. It looks like it's going to be really cool. It's said to be a turn-based game, and it's going to be a turn-based strategy game, rather. And then it looks like it's going to have all the major characters from all the Pokemon games. Like, they showed Gary and Brock, and like, we saw that. They saw there was a Cynthia, I think, was shown too. So like, yeah, I'm super excited about this one. I hope that I hope it's like story based too, because that's what I really like about the Pokemon games and the proper, like, there's always a silly story. So give me at least something like that. So, are you guys excited about this? Are you guys going to download it on your phones?
I might get more play
if it's free to start. I will.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have to, like, even if they do like the Super Mario Run style of, you get to play part of it and then you pay for the rest of it. One of my problems with Pokemon, which Pokemon Let's Go has kind of helped out with, but like I just don't have the time to devote to long RPGs. But if it's something I can pull out, play for 5-10 minutes and feel like I've progressed in it, then great, and
right.
On a phone it's going to be far more convenient than on my Switch, which I can't carry in my pocket.
Sure. Well, until the Switch Mini comes in at the E3 press conference, but we're going to be talking about
Stop
that later.
That. They're not talking about hardware at E3.
Oh, damn it, I forgot about that.
I agree. I really hope not, at least.
Well, we're all going to buy that stupid thing if it comes out, but
I know.
All right, Steve, are you excited about Pokemon shirts?
You know, I saw something online today, and I really hope it's wrong that these things are going to be like $130. Fuck that. I am out. No. What are Pokemon shirts? I didn't even see this one. What is this?
Well, it looks like they're going to be producing shirts that are,
Come here,
based off
cat.
of Pokemon. There's like one with like a bunch of Pidgeys and stuff like that I'm looking at in this image. There's like a Hawaiian-looking shirt with a bunch of Magikarps, and I'm probably gonna get a few of them. They look cool. I'll send you the link in the chat from what I'm looking at on that one. But yeah, Pokemon shirts. I don't know if that was part of the press conference, but I know it kind of came out of it. I know people have been talking about that on Twitter, anyways, in my feed. So it looks cool to me. But yeah, anything else from the press conference, Steve, that we're missing?
Not that I know of.
The only other thing I can think of is Pokemon Go, man. Your Snorlax, you better get your Snorlaxes while they're here and sleeping, because I've already caught like 5. It's great. Have you caught your Snorlax, Steve? Have you ever turned on Pokemon Go?
I don't even have it installed on my phone right now.
Ah, Steve, you need to open my gifts, man.
I know, we're like 5 days from best friends.
It really is depressing. But all right, cool. Well, I guess that really is it for the Pokemon press conference. So we are going to move out of it and into our next segment, and we'll be right back. Twitch, we're back. We're going to be talking to you about E3, but not until this music plays. And until I make a note in my Audacity. Here we go. Would you like to appear on an episode of Infendo Radio once per month? Would you like to get an exclusive t-shirt that only you can wear? You can by joining our Lost Ranger tier. For $50 a month, you can be a producer on the show. All right, and we're back. It is E3 time, almost. It's E3 prediction time, I guess, for us. So, gosh, are we 2 weeks away from E3? Less than 2 weeks away from E3 now? It's crazy. We're, like, getting close. I think it is about time that we do our, traditional E3 bingo card. Justin brought it up earlier this week in our private Discord, and, it wouldn't be E3 without us doing it. So let's make us a little E3 prediction episode, shall we? I'm going to start because I kind of hinted at this while we were on break. I really think Nintendo is just either really good at hiding what they're doing because they said before they're not going to show any hardware at E3, or they're actually going to do a pre-reveal before E3 or after or something like that, and we're going to see the Switch Mini. That's a thing. That is happening. I believe that Nikkei article, I think that's where it first came out of. I just think that it just makes sense, and I don't know why Nintendo is being so coy about it, but yeah, I think that is going to make an appearance before, let's say, I guess my prediction is going to be it'll make an appearance at E3 before or 2 weeks after E3, somewhere in that period. They might do a special director.
I'll tell you why Nintendo's not talking about it, because the moment Nintendo comes out and says, hey, we've got a new version of the system coming out, people are going to stop buying the current version. And the longer they can hold on to that announcement to the actual release date they can announce it, the less of a dip they'll see in sales. So
that does make sense. And then I don't know if I would be so bold in my prediction to say this, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're already manufacturing it and it's hey, and you can buy it in a week from now or something like that, or in a month from now, it's coming soon.
All I gotta say is shut up and take my money.
I'll take your Switch.
I would.
My kids want one. I'm not spending full price.
I think I really would.
You think
pay
I'm
for
gonna have just one? I'll have two.
I think I really would pay for a Switch with the form factor of a Vita, because give the Vita all the crap you want, but that was a good little system, it was perfect. You can actually put that in your pocket if you really wanted to and take it and go. It's a good pooping machine. I need a pooping machine. Give me Switch Mini.
You know what? Give me a Switch Mini the size of a Vita and allow me to transfer my saves and data back and forth wirelessly, kind of syncing an iPhone and an iPad and all that, how it does that automatically, and sign me up, because I'll take the Mini to work with me. I'll play the Switch in bed, and I'll dock it in the living room when I want to play on the big screen.
Mm-hmm. Brian, would you get a Switch Mini?
Yeah, we could have a whole
conversation. Switch Mini?
I'm super anti-Switch Mini, but I know that I would buy it anyway. But I really agree with Justin that it needs to be cross-compatible with every other game that you've downloaded on your Switch already. Because it's almost like the Pokemon thing. If you can't go back and forth, then what's the point of buying multiples?
For sure. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
Ooh.
Can
they call it the swap?
Oh,
Swap
okay.
would be good.
That would be kind of deep.
Well, we're just really building on the child beating analogies here, aren't we?
Gosh, I'm with you though. They've already started the building blocks of that by allowing the Switch transferring. I think it was in the firmware update 3.0. I can't remember which firmware update it was, but there's that now. So now, give me the ability to sign in with my Nintendo account and play the games on my Switch Mini. Maybe not at the same time. Maybe I can't play Smash Brothers on the Switch Mini and Smash Brothers on my regular Switch at the same time, but build something in where I can transfer that data,
Well, it's almost like Spotify. You can have Spotify on every device that you want. You just can't use it at two at the same time.
Exactly.
If I'm driving home from work and I'm listening to music and then my wife turns on music in the Google in the kitchen, then I get shut down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That technology definitely exists. Like Nintendo could implement something like that. Will they? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, who could know?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's my prediction. So who wants to take next?
I'll
go.
defer to Justin.
I was just about to jump up, but go ahead.
So my first announcement. I'm making announcements here, people. I'm not even predicting. My first prediction. We know already that we're getting Link's Awakening remastered or whatever the hell they're calling it this year. I'm gonna be so bold as to predict the release date because I know that Zelda games have come out around this time because it's right around my birthday. I'm thinking the game that we get the week of my birthday is going to be Link's Awakening, and that is going to be Friday, December 6th, which is it's the same Friday we got Smash. It's the same Friday we got Spirit Tracks. There's no reason we can't get a Zelda game on the Switch on Friday, December 6th. Anybody contest that?
I don't. I mean, that was actually one that I had on my list, but I took off. I was thinking that if they're going to announce a release date, they may even have like maybe even a 10 to 15-minute demo that they can put on. Yeah, that's all for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've got the exact date because I don't know. I feel like they would want to release it a little bit earlier, but definitely it's going to be a holiday title. And I actually, if unless anybody wants to like outright argue with Steve on this one, I could just roll right into my first prediction because it's also Zelda related.
Hit it.
That's fine. There's nothing more to talk about.
I predict that Nintendo will mention or reveal like a teaser image of a new full-featured 3D Zelda game, but we won't see any footage or actual screenshots. Kind of like with Skyward Sword, how like at the tail end of E3 they just showed us like the poster
logo,
image or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it was.
And
yeah.
no title, no explanation whatsoever. It's just like, here, we're working on a new Zelda, and it's coming soon enough that we're ready to tell you about it.
Okay. Nintendo has been known to do weird things like that, right? Like on like the 11th hour, they'll reveal something like groundbreaking, like a new Zelda's coming, So yeah.
And we already know that it's pretty likely. I mean, we know Monolith Soft is working on some sort of Zelda game. They've come right out and said it. And we already know that Nintendo plans on reusing this game engine. Like, it's almost a guarantee at this point that whatever the next fully featured 3D Zelda is going to be built off of the Breath of the Wild engine because it's there. It took them like 7 years to, from conception to completion. They're going to want to get as much mileage out of this as possible. Plus, it's like the best-selling Zelda game of all time.
I would totally take the
go ahead, Eugene.
No, I was just gonna agree with him. I would totally take a Monolith Soft Zelda game, and like it sounds like if they're leading development of like the mainline Zelda one, yeah, like so be it. Like that sounds great.
I mean, they've had their hand in several Zeldas already, so why not?
I think to Justin's point, it's just to piggyback on that. They've been putting so much time and effort into these smaller Zelda games, like the new Crypt of the Necrodancer, and then this remake of Link's Awakening. I think that they're trying to build more and more interest into the franchise, so that they can get people ready for the next upcoming game. Because I think most of the draw for Breath of the Wild was the fact that it had been so long since the last Zelda came out, and it was a launch title for the Switch. So obviously everybody was going to buy it anyway. So, but I think outside of people expecting the next one, they're just trying to get more and more and more people into Zelda in small ways, and then they can finally work up to the next big launch title.
Yeah. I just don't want them to see. I don't want to see them put that Breath of the Wild engine to waste, right? Like I want to see more stuff with that engine too. Yeah, so like,
No pun intended.
imagine another Majora's Mask style game in that engine, or like even
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
what I was
like a
gonna say.
Mario
Yeah, I
style
mean,
game
like-
in that engine or something like that. Like, give me some more mileage out of that.
Yeah, I think there's a huge push to make like a more like a smaller world with more to do in much the same way that Majora's Mask did it. Like, because one of the big complaints about Breath of the Wild was there was a lot of world, but also a lot of nothing. And I think if they take that map, like shrink it down to about half the size, but populate it with more NPCs, more side quests, more things like that, you can still squeeze like probably a 50, 60 hour long game, maybe, you know, with the open world style, another 100-hour game out of that engine, just reusing a lot of the same assets they already have.
Well, I think all of the nothing was maybe a benefit to Breath of the Wild because that really implemented the adventure style of the game. You could spend so much time out in the wilderness doing nothing.
Oh yeah, I have no complaint about Breath of the Wild. Is still one of my favorite games of all time. Like
sure.
the nothingness didn't bother me. I loved exploring it. I loved seeing what I can do in it. Lucas will crucify me for saying this, but I think the open world aspects of it were more interesting than Skyrim's.
Well, sure.
But yeah, and so I want to see more of that. But I also see why they might want to streamline it a little bit more and kind of hook that in between audience, people again like Lucas, who are looking more of a Zelda like experience and less of a open, you know, go anywhere, do anything sort of thing, and just kind
So
of
more linear.
meet in the middle. Not so much more linear, but you know, more streamlined, like less running around with no idea what to do, and more, you know, like here's everything. Like you don't have to go out and looking for it, but you still have to go to it.
Yeah.
I think what would be cool is that if they implement, and I'm no game designer, right? But like the way that they made it so then you can always off in the distance see something to do. Usually like there's like some yellow glowing off in the distance to like and indicating a shrine, or like you have to go there to climb that tower or whatever. Well, I think they could do something like that with like 8 directions and make 8 temples, right? You see like, oh my god, there's these 8 huge temples or something like that you see off in the distance, and those are like your traditional Zelda style dungeons or whatever, you know, like they can make something like that interesting. Which they almost did in Breath of the Wild. The world is just big enough that you can barely see Death Mountain from like the Gerudo Highlands. Like it's there, it's in the distance, you can reach it, but it's way, way, way out there. And yeah, I think if they shrunk the map down to like maybe about half the size in either direction, you could have that like this is the edge of the map, but this is where you have to go to find the MacGuffins to beat the big bad, and you know, like whatever their little non-story is that they put in the next Zelda game. For sure.
That may or may not have any relevance to a timeline that may or may not be made up as we go along. Anyway, before Lucas jumps on the call just to fight with me, let's move on to the next prediction.
Fair. Well, Brian, you want to take next?
Yeah, I'll take the next one. I'm probably going to steamroll over somebody else's prediction, but I don't care. So I think that since Nintendo is playing so nice with Microsoft, I really think that they're going to roll out like a streaming service. I think that they're going to implement like the Xbox Live or whatever it is, the Gold Pass, to stick it in there. They've got all the free games with the Gold Pass. You can stream it directly, so you don't have to download anything and take up more space on your memory card and your Switch. And that's going to open up a lot more games that weren't offered to us before. And I sit there and I talk to a lot of my coworkers, and you know, they go and they do the big Call of Duty tournaments, and they've all got the jerseys and everything like that. And when you say that you're exclusively Nintendo, you feel left out on all of those games that you can't play, that kind of thing. So if we were just to enter into that Microsoft world at least a little bit, we have more access to things like think
about like the EA All Access even, right? Because then you can tie that stuff in there to get your FIFAs and your Maddens, like that type of stuff.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think that would be a great idea. I would be in it. I used to, when I was playing on Xbox a lot back in like the late days of the 360, I was signed up for that gold pass, and I took full advantage of it. And I would be absolutely happy to buy it again if that was the option for us.
Sure. Awesome. That's actually a pretty good prediction. I don't know what Microsoft is gonna reveal with this weird partnership, but that is exactly what I want them to do. Like, give me maybe not all the games. Like, you're obviously probably not gonna be able to play the latest Gears of War because, like, let's face it, the Switch probably just can't handle that, right? But like as we've seen, they're
maybe
more than
the
happy to
old
give
Gears
us...
of War.
Well, yeah, there you go. That's not a bad idea, right? Like
we
1 through
could.
3.
I mean, we could potentially. Yeah, we could potentially get like the original Halo trilogy, the original Gears of War trilogy, that were 360 games. Those could easily run on the Switch.
The older like Assassin's Creed games and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Switch has already proven it can run last generation games pretty well. Like, as long as they have to be optimized, but. And hopefully Microsoft will be willing to put the time and money into that. But, unlike, HQ Nordic, but, we'll get...
Yeah, it would be so cool.
I also onto this prediction.
Or Ubisoft.
Go ahead,
I also added onto this prediction something that Phantom brings up in the chat. Streaming service with Games with Gold / Xbox Game Pass. Because I think that they'd be likely to do something with both parts of that service if they're going to do something involving one part.
Yeah, I think Game Pass would benefit Microsoft more than even Games with Gold because, I mean, Game Pass is $10 a month, and you just get access to all these games, and you could you can download them to your card. They might even be able to figure out how to stream them to your system. And you just pay that subscription fee. And if you want to get an Xbox One, we're not gonna strong arm you into it. You can play in your Switch. But if you'd like to buy an Xbox One, hey, all that stuff you're already playing there, you can play it on here too. Like it just seems like that's going to be the thing that's going to get their claws into the Nintendo gamers and pull them to the Xbox while not hurting Nintendo. Whereas like the problem with the live thing is that it's kind of its own different animal. Like, yeah, you get the free games, but you're mostly playing for the opportunity to play online, and you're already paying to play online on the Nintendo Switch, and you're just kind of adding, I don't know. It just seems like it'd be more complicated, more detrimental to Microsoft to do it that way. I think Game Pass is more likely.
I'm going to disagree with you there, Justin. Because they've already said that Xbox Live is coming to mobile and Switch. Not like Xbox Live Gold Edition or whatever it is, but Xbox Live is coming to Switch.
Right. Well, but Xbox Live is different than Xbox Live Gold. Right. Xbox Live is just kind of their pipeline. Like, this is, hey, you connect to Xbox Live and we'll tell you what you can get if you pay us. But you're not really getting, like, yeah, you can put Xbox Live on a phone because all they're going to do is say, hey, these games are out now, and if you give us more money, we'll give them to you for cheaper.
Right. Well, I mean, they say that they're bringing Xbox Live just to Switch and mobile, but in what capacity? Like, what is it that we're actually going to be able to do with this? All that we know is that it's coming. Well, great, it's coming, but now what?
Yeah, exactly. That's like, what am I gonna be able to chat with my Xbox Live friends on my Switch? Like, why would I want to do that? Like, you gotta give me something for this integration.
That is a brilliant idea. What if Microsoft decides to bring Xbox Live chat to the Switch? And that's the way to get around, Nintendo being like, oh, we don't want to do it. System-based voice chat. Microsoft says, well, we will, and you join Xbox Live and you'll be able to use our voice chat no matter what game you're playing. And again, Microsoft's best thing right now is to basically reach out to Nintendo gamers and say, hey, we know you like what you've got, but come over here and look what we've got.
Us too. Us too.
Yeah. It's like you don't have to get rid of your Switch. You don't get rid of your Switch. That's fine. You can keep that, carry that around with you in your bag. But look at what the Xbox can do. Look at these games you could be playing through this Xbox Live service that we are giving to you for free and telling you what you can't play on this thing. I mean, there's many insidious but mutually beneficial things that they can do by putting Xbox Live on these multiple systems that may or may not you may or may not be like directly game related.
For sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. All right. Well, then I guess it's time to move on to...
I think this is one of those topics we all get something to say about.
Yeah, right. It's time to move on to my next prediction, I guess, because I think we've made it all the way around the horn. So
did we? Wait, I thought we only did you
No,
and...
we did. I'm taking notes on the show notes as we go.
Okay, then I haven't done my second.
Well, I haven't either, so I'm
starting
first.
second.
So here we go. My second prediction
Jeez, that was the only
is
one?
that... Man, I think that, how Metroid Prime 4 got delayed and all that fun stuff, and that was real sad. Well, we're going to still hear about Metroid this year at E3, and my bold prediction is we're finally going to get a Metroid Prime trilogy on the Switch, and hopefully it has, like, the same Wii Play controls that, like, the Wii versions did, because the waggle controls added to that game brilliantly, in my opinion.
And I mean, they could do that with the
prediction.
Joy-Con.
Sorry, Steve.
So this is all of this is one of my predictions as well. So I'm gonna let everybody speak their piece, and then I'm gonna hop in at the end here.
I'm gonna add one thing to this, Eugene. It's
Okay.
going to have amiibo support for the 5 existing amiibos, but they're not going to announce any new amiibo.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want that to be part of my prediction though, because if it doesn't have a Amiibo support, then I don't get it wrong. So.
Yeah, if you want to waste one of your predictions,
I'm not wasting a full prediction.
You go right ahead.
I'm just announcing it on air, so in 2 years when someone is catching up on the show, it will be heard.
Fair. Yeah, no.
Is that going to be me, Steve? Is that who you're referring to?
I know.
You got the last one.
No, I think it just makes sense, right? Because, those games have been rumored for ages to be coming to the Switch. So, I mean, with the announcement of the Prime 4 being delayed, probably want to make the Metroid brand at least out there somewhere, right? So how better to do that than release the Prime trilogy, Like, it's ready. Let's do it.
God, there are so many predictions that I have on my list that play off of what to do next, but I'm not next, so I'll let you all talk about this one and take your turns in turn.
Brian, I think you had something to say about this one.
I do have something to say about this one, and it's not going to make everybody happy.
Oh boy. Okay, let's hear it.
My prediction is no Metroid at all.
Oh.
I think we may get like one thing like we did last time, where maybe it's just like a silhouette of like Ridley or something like that. Maybe almost exactly what you've got in your background there, Eugene, but almost like they did with like Smash. They've got silhouettes of people. You've got to guess, but I think that's it. I really think that they're I wouldn't say embarrassed. I think Nintendo might just have some saving face to do as far as catching up on that last announcement that they made. So if they do anything, I think it will only be that. And I don't think that they would be reissuing old Metroid games to the Switch with no reason. Like, even just to keep interest in the brand. They're doing that with Zelda, but they're doing that with completely brand new games, even if it's a remake. And I don't think that they would just like push over ports to the Switch just to keep people happy about Metroid.
All right, I'm bumping Steve because I also had a Metroid prediction that is different than both of yours.
Well, okay, so Brian, before we do that, is that actually one of your predictions? Is that part of just
no?
a cliffhanger?
My prediction is no Metroid at all.
Oh
I think
boy.
I honestly
Okay.
think that they're too embarrassed to say anything about it. If it's anything, it's just going to be something real small, like a picture on a poster next to their setup or something. That's it.
All right, interesting. So one of us is gonna be right, and one of us is gonna be wrong, I guess. So there's some.
Put me on the
Yeah, we have
goddamn
to be
bingo
very
card.
careful. We have to be very careful how we position these
Yeah,
on the
right.
bingo card so that they don't conflict with each other. Because my prediction was that we will get an announcement of a new 2D Metroid developed by
Don't
whoever it is
no
who
no.
did,
I gotta leave. You're gonna break my
No.
heart when it doesn't happen.
developed by whoever did. Put your earphones back on, Eugene. um, Developed by whoever did Samus Returns. They
Okay.
finished Samus Returns and started work on a new Metroid game, and it might be porting Samus Returns to the Switch, or it might be an all new 2D Metroid game for the Switch. But I think as a stopgap for this Metroid Prime 4 debacle, and I don't think we're going to see the trilogy on Switch until they have more to say about 4. Like, they want to build up the hype for 4 within a certain window, and I think now is just way too early. But I think now is a good time to release a much cheaper and easier to produce Metroid game that we haven't seen a sequel to Metroid Fusion yet. Like, Metroid Fusion was Metroid 4. All the Prime games take place in between 1 and 2.
Mhm.
And it's not Zero Mission. What the hell? Well, yes, Zero Mission, but what the hell was the other M took place before Zero Mission / the original Metroid. So we haven't had a Metroid 5 yet. So I think we're either going to get Samus Returns on the Switch or Metroid 5.
Okay. Fair
2D,
enough.
developed
So
by whoever did Samus Returns.
is that one of your predictions, Justin? Man, we've all got Metroid in us tonight.
That was on my list before y'all started talking about it. I just bumped it up because,
It's
it
the
seems
Metroid
relevant.
Minute, apparently. Yeah. All right. Well, Steve, do you
Steve,
have a
say
Metroid
something about
prediction?
Metroid.
Yeah. Come on, give it to me.
No. No, because I was going to predict that the trilogy was coming to Switch with Amiibo support, but you've
I already
already
stole it.
predicted that, so I axed mine out. And I'm just putting myself down for a half a point bonus if they do announce Amiibo support, just to screw you, Eugene, because I know you don't want it. So I'm going to quit talking about Metroid, and
Talk about
I'm
Shantae.
going to talk... No, actually, but another one of my favorites, Shovel Knight.
Oh boy.
Yacht Club Games, they delayed the Shovel Knight release by a few months, quote unquote, from their press release. I think
A few months plus a year or two.
No. I think what they're gonna do is they're going to do a similar thing to what they did with the Switch launch, and they're going to announce that King of Cards is coming first to Switch with a same-day release, and the Amiibo the fall, that same Friday of of E3.
I don't know. My Amiibo have been
So
ordered for like a year and a half now. So
same here.
I'm already getting
day
King
one
of
at Best
Cards
Buy.
because I bought the Well, I'm already day one from Amazon, and I've got the Treasure Trove or whatever the all-in-one collection is. So I'm getting King of Cards day one. So I'm set whenever they decide they're ready to push that out the door. Of course, I still have to play the other 2 expansions, but minor details.
So to sum it up, King of Cards will be available on Tuesday, the day of Nintendo's press conference, and the Amiibos will be shipped out by Friday, is my official prediction.
I feel like nobody else in this group cares enough about Shovel Knight to have a long, in-depth conversation about this.
I've had it for 2 years now. This is my second year on this one.
Well, it'll be right eventually.
I know. If I keep wishing it, it will be true.
All right. Well, I guess that brings us around to me again, don't it? All right. So my next prediction is, and this might be maybe a bold prediction. I don't know. But I think that what Nintendo I think they might be a little light on games this year. So what they're gonna do in lieu of that is they're gonna announce that Virtual Console is coming to Nintendo Switch Online for Super Nintendo. So I guess not Virtual Console, whatever the heck they're calling it, but they're gonna
The the thing that they're doing now with NES games.
yeah,
I think that's more likely.
Yeah, they'll
The
release
official Nintendo thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll release an
Right.
official Nintendo SNES thing that you can download as part of your Nintendo Online, and they'll just start dripping games into that. And I think probably, I'm not going to predict the games, but if I had to guess, it's probably going to be like your Super Nintendo or Metroid, Link to the Past, and Super Mario World. Those are going to be like the 3 ones that'll be on there like on day one.
Yeah, remember in the GameCube days when Mario, Zelda, and Metroid were considered Nintendo's big three?
Yeah, right. Seriously.
And then we stopped getting games in all of those franchises for like a decade.
Yeah, right. So, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't really utilized the NES mode to be able to play 2-player with people online. I would totally do that with Super Nintendo games. Like, I think that like 2-player Super Mario World sounds amazing.
I can show Justin I'm better than him at Donkey Kong.
How are you going to play Donkey Kong? Well, I mean, you take turns,
Country.
I guess, but
Yeah, I can show you I'm better.
oh, okay.
And we can all show each other how much we all suck at the Star Wars game. What was it? Empire Strikes Back for.
No,
Yeah,
all of
oh,
them
yeah.
are awful. All of
Oh,
them are
man.
Get ready for a Pika because that was so fucking hard.
I played. I went to a party last weekend, and somebody brought a Raspberry Pi with a whole bunch of Super NES games on it, and I played the Indiana Jones game, which I'm pretty sure was the same developer. If it wasn't, they certainly copied the Super Star Wars formula because it was ridiculously hard for no good reason. Like, I'm not feeding you quarters. Why are you punishing me?
Well, Justin,
I can't even
that's
beat
kind of
Star Wars with save states and cheats. That's how hard it is.
yeah. Justin, that's kind of like you were saying a while ago. Is back when you bought those games, you only got like one every 6 months.
Oh my god, I have to tell my kids that all the time. It's like, you complain about you want all these new games and everything. Do you have any idea what we lived with? You got 2 new games every year.
Man.
You
You're
good
get
at
off
them.
my lawn already, old man.
You either got good at them or you played the one you got last year.
Right. Yeah. And it's they make them so hard so that they last so long. So either you play it for 6 months until you get your next game or just get good.
Mm-hmm.
To the average player, it takes the same amount of time to beat Super Star Wars as it does Breath of the Wild.
350 hours.
Right.
So that's my prediction. I think it would be great to have a Super Nintendo mode in there. We're not getting Super Star Wars, unfortunately, but actually maybe we will because it came to the PlayStation, right? And
and I mean, well, okay, so here's the thing about that. I think Disney would more likely do what they did with PlayStation Network and release the game. And this is why we're not getting a virtual console, honestly, because we got the Mega Man collections, we got the Castlevania collection. Like, these companies are like, hey, we can sell these games and pocket all the money and not have to pay a licensing fee to Nintendo. And we can bundle all of them together, or we can charge a premium for them. I think if Disney's going to release Super Star Wars, they're more than likely just going to do what they did on the PlayStation and be like, here it is, $10, it's yours.
That makes sense.
Well, where does Nintendo sit with all of their ownership of the rights for LucasArts? Because we had all those Nintendo 64 games.
Nowhere. Nintendo did publish the Rogue Squadron series. I don't know what they published of the other ones, but they don't own any distribution rights to it because those go to, like you said, LucasArts. They go to Factor 5.
Right.
Factor 5 is defunct. The Rogue Squadron games were supposed to come out in a trilogy on the GameCube, and then that got moved to the Xbox. So obviously, that kind of goes wherever the developer goes, and then it disappeared entirely. So I'll tell you, I'd rather have those 3 games than the Super games, but that's that's a story for an entirely different prediction. Let's move on before we spend another 15 minutes in the weeds.
Yeah.
Fair
All
enough.
right, so I guess I'll make my third prediction.
Or the swamps of Dagobah.
Here.
Well done.
This one is one I predicted last year, but I'm adding a little twist to it. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze sold very, very well on Switch. So I think that they are going to give us Donkey Kong Country Returns 3, and King K. Rool is going to be in it.
Wow, Steve is recycling his predictions like Nintendo recycles their old properties.
Nintendo makes money. Eventually, I'm going to be right.
Let's check for last year's E3. I think I've already listened to it, but I'm pretty sure it's Donkey Kong and Shovel Knight. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I know those two were there.
Oh, sure.
And we still don't have either game, so we're going to get them at some point. They're not
you know,
going
Yeah,
to
and
not
Steve is
release
losing
another
at bingo.
Donkey Kong Country Returns game.
I would play it though. I would play it. I
Yeah.
just don't want. I just don't want Retro to be
Tropical
making
Freeze
it.
were
Like,
great.
Yeah, I
Well,
just hope
and-
Retro's not doing it.
Hey, all right.
I
this
don't care
is-
if they are. People predicted the Crash Trilogy remaster was coming for decades.
No, they're
and it
still
finally
predicting for decades. Again, eventually, if you keep predicting it, it'll be right. But, and they've been predicting the Spyro trilogy for quite a while too, and we
Yeah.
It came out.
Still haven't
it's
even
not on
heard-
Switch yet.
like anything other than hope. Right, but people keep saying anyway. I would love to see Donkey Kong Country Returns 3 or whatever they want to, whatever you would call it. Not a legitimate prediction, but you know what I'd rather see? An HD remaster of the original Rare trilogy. Like take the original assets, the original CGI assets, redo them
Yeah.
in
Okay.
1080p and give us that beautiful 90s CGI in high
Ooh, give
definition.
us 16 by 9. Okay.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
you're onto
Absolutely
something here.
not. No. No. I do not want it. That game is pure, untainted. Leave it the fuck alone.
But that's just it. It will be the exact same game. It'll be like
No,
the
it
Monster
won't.
or the Wonder Boy game, where it's basically the exact same game, the exact same gameplay, the exact same engine, but with a fresh coat of paint.
I've seen them ruin far more games than they've gotten right.
I mean,
I don't
but
want it.
like they could
But you
if
can't
it was
ruin
done
it.
right.
Like, it's the exact same. All right. We're doing it
Okay,
again. We're
well-
doing it again. Next prediction.
While we're doing that, let's do Super Mario World HD. We'll just do that too.
Okay, yeah,
I'd love
sure.
to see a hand Super Mario World, but with like hand drawn graphics. Yeah, sign me
No,
up for that.
No, I don't want that either. You guys are crazy.
I
So-
love pixel art, but let's face it, the Donkey Kong Country graphics don't work so well for pixel art because you lose all the definition.
All right, Justin,
Steve,
Brian,
man.
Really
who's
differing.
next? Take us into our next prediction.
Justin
I'll
is.
jump in
Steve
just
has
really
an
quick.
aneurysm.
Or Brian.
I'll jump in just
Brian.
really quick before we move on with a very, very quick side tangent here. Steve, because you and I are the only ones who give a shit, if Crash Team Racing comes out on with online multiplayer, you and I will be playing that more than Minecraft. I'll guarantee you that.
Yes. Sold.
Somebody had better bring me my wood, damn it.
Easy. Family friendly.
Justin, did you see my sign?
Yes.
I'm so
Took a
happy.
screenshot of it. I forgot to share it.
You were complaining last week that nobody comes to visit you, so I figured I'd make my presence.
Nobody wants to play with me. God, I need to stop making 90s references. Whose turn is it?
Yours. Predict.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, again, not the next on my list, but since we're already talking about it in a roundabout way, and we sort of talked about it earlier, I think we are going to get rare games on Switch.
Oh, God damn it.
Whether it be like a dump of rare replay
Ooh,
optimized
yes.
for
Yeah,
the Switch,
uh-huh.
or just piecemeal. Hey, here's Banjo Kazooie, like they used to do on the Xbox Live Arcade, where $10 you get Banjo Kazooie, $10 you get Perfect Dark, But I think with Nintendo and Microsoft being so buddy and Rare wanting to do more, kind of retro stuff, and with the old Rare developers kind of getting involved in, with like Platonics and stuff like that, I think there's a very good chance they're going to want the classic Rare games right where they belong on a Nintendo system in high definition. I want it. Give it to me. Give it to me now. I've got enough money in my eShop account. I'll buy them. I'll buy them tonight. Give them to me. Perfect Dark. Online multiplayer. I will play it tonight.
Oh, don't tease me.
Infendo game night. Come on.
Perfect Dark.
I'd be all about it. Yeah.
If anybody has Rare Replay or Perfect Dark on Xbox Live, I'll play it with you tonight.
Justin will do it. That was one of mine too, but mine went even one step further, that we were going to have Nintendo would have some sort of acquisition of Rare, where they would go back and say, this was ours in the first place and we're taking it back. And just because Nintendo and Microsoft are playing so nice together, I was almost thinking it'd be like a 50-50 split.
Yeah, I think there's certain properties that are more Nintendo centric than Microsoft centric, and Microsoft has discovered that.
GoldenEye 64. Are you going to play GoldenEye 64 on any other system?
No, because there are so many licensing issues wrapped around it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we pick up Rare and they were able to like work nice with who else was the
Activision. All right, I did this in an article back when I wrote articles for Infendo. The companies that this would have to involve are literally Nintendo for the game, Microsoft for Rare, Sony for the ownership of the film rights of the Bond franchise, and Activision, the owners of the video game rights. So literally the four biggest names in video gaming would have to come together and mutually agree in order to get a GoldenEye re-release.
Well, hang on.
Please.
So let's think about this.
Good luck with it.
Nintendo and Microsoft are already playing nice, so you've already got Nintendo and Rare
Sony
covered.
is not.
Activision
fair.
is also playing nice because Crash has come to a Nintendo console.
Yep.
The only ones that are going to fuck it up for us are Sony.
And let's face it, Activision has done nothing for Nintendo except release a remaster of a 20-year-old game.
So, Brian, you're going to have to go back and check the stats
games.
or the tapes, but I'm pretty sure I projected this same thing last year, so we're on the same
Did
wavelength,
you?
actually.
All right, I'll go back and I'll look. I've already listened to it. I wasn't taking notes. But I think as just an overarching thing for all of this, Justin, like just to Steve's point, everybody is playing nice. Well, 3 of the 4 are playing nice. But as far as actually getting this done, I think the overwhelming demand for the most loved game in my opinion, the most loved game on Nintendo 64 would push these guys to get it done. It's just all it is making a hashtag to trend on Twitter, and if that happens, then they'll get it.
I would love to see it happen. I would love to see it happen, and it would benefit everyone involved. But I mean, basically, I'm sure Sony and Microsoft would be like, "Hey, it has to come out in our systems too," and Activision would be like, "Well, we have to have our name on it," and this just.
So then, you're just saying a multi-platform?
Okay, so what's weird to me, and again, we're getting deep into the weeds on this one, but
5-hour show tonight, guys. Let's do it.
What was weird to me was the Ghostbusters game. Not the one based on the movie that came out a couple of years ago, but basically the Ghostbusters 3, the one that was actually written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, that came out on 360 and PS3, and Wii and PS2. Like, Ghostbusters is distributed by Sony.
Yeah,
Columbia Pictures is a Sony subsidiary. There was no reason for Sony to have released the Ghostbusters game on anything but PlayStation 3, and yet they released it on everything. So there is, if Sony wants to play nice, they can. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's literally all there is to it is they just have to, they can't just take their ball and go home. They have to learn to play nice with everybody else. That's all there is to it, and they refuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're kind of in an
so
era
prediction:
where,
Sony will play nice with everyone. Wait, that wasn't it.
Yeah, okay.
Rare games on Switch. That was my prediction that got us all the way out here in no man's land. Rare games on Switch announced at E3. Next prediction.
Yeah.
Ryan, you have the floor.
I do? Me?
Yeah.
This is why I can't
shit.
tell whose turn it is.
Look
Well,
at
and
the notes.
that's why I keep going.
This is why we're not playing a game this week, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way we could do this and Nintendo in one episode. We would be here until 3 o'clock in the morning.
And it's so hard for me to keep going back and forth with the show notes because I'm so invested into looking at your guys' faces and your reactions to this conversation.
I am a beautiful human being.
I already said that Justin is the most beautiful human being in the entire world. So look at that. He dropped his stream, so I couldn't look at him anymore.
I will blow up your house.
His wife is getting super jealous of me.
He's blushing.
Well, Justin grabbed one of mine. We went on the whole Metroid thing. I've got a couple of more on my list here. Eugene, how many do we have left? I've lost count.
So
Two
this will be
each.
your third.
You're on
and then
number 3.
You have 3 left.
I have 3 left. Oh god damn it!
So unless you wanted to make your Nintendo buys Rare one of your predictions, because that. Okay.
I would go so far as to jump ahead of Justin, and instead of just having multi-platform releases, I think that Nintendo will buy at least a piece of Rare so that they can get those licenses back.
I can go with that as a separate prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, then
I
you're
guess
already there. Why don't you give us
Eugene?
your number 4 then, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. Man, I've got 2 on my list. All right, let's do that.
Right out the window.
I'm going to say both, and then between you 3, you choose which one you deem most bingoable.
Okay.
Well,
we do.
here's
we do
the
have
thing.
5
One of these on
predictions,
my
though, so you can use them
Yeah,
both
so
if you
you
want.
need to
Okay.
do 2.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll do 2 then. So this is the one that everybody has been saying for years, and it's gonna happen eventually. We just need a date on it, an HD remaster of Skyward Sword.
Oh.
God
Okay.
damn it, give me my Skyward Sword.
Okay.
I swear
Keep the
to
motion
God.
controls, even if they're optional. Keep the motion controls.
Right. I mean, it's the Joy-Con are perfectly able to do that. There's any reason why
the
they
Wii
can't.
Remote Plus was perfectly capable of doing them. I don't know why so many people had so many problems with it. Everything in that worked. You had to,
Dude, like,
but
all of that, comparably now, all of that was just garbage technology. Like, we can all agree on that. It worked for what it was, and it was great at the time. But we're so far ahead of that now, and with the super great motion controls on the Joy-Con and the IR sensor that's on there.
Yeah.
Even if they put out just like a little dongle or whatever that you put on your table, and then you can.
You know what amuses me? Everybody's like, "Oh, motion controls are so stupid. Motion controls are terrible. I'm glad we're done with motion controls." Hey, check out this new VR game where you wear a thing and you move your hands around to do stuff on the screen. The motion control. You are literally playing what Nintendo told you are going to be playing. You're just wearing it on your face instead.
No, but I'm just blasting a bazooka. That's not the same.
Right? No, yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, for as much as Miyamoto was struggling with it in that E3 demo, I think that it worked perfectly fine on the Switch when it first, or on the Wii when it first came out.
That final battle on Skyward Sword, like, I was standing up in my living room going full swing against the final boss. Like, that was intense.
And to your credit, Brian, it could be so much better now because the technology is just so much better, right? Like it could just be exactly what Miyamoto and Nintendo visualized it to be, and on the perfect system for it, in my opinion, you know? And then, to your credit, Justin, they can also make it available in handheld mode, right? Just add button control somehow,
Well, yeah, look at what they did with
like,
Pokemon Let's Go. Like, Pokemon Let's Go was clearly built around the motion controls, but they're like, hey, you can't do that in handheld, so here's another. Like, just map. It's simple. Just map the sword swings to the second joystick, which didn't exist on the Wii, so you don't have to worry about using up something that like a button or whatever that you already needed for something else.
Right.
Like there were no camera controls on the Wii. It was Ocarina of Time style. You press a button, it centers behind them. So you use this to do swings, and you can play it in handheld mode.
Yeah, they can do so much, right? Like there are ways they can be creative with it. That is a perfect example. So come on, Nintendo, give it to me. We all want it. Everybody wants it.
One tiny little addition to that was it Twilight Princess or was it Skyward Sword where they switched Link from being left-handed to right-handed?
Both.
Ooh.
It was
Okay, here's
the GameCube version was
in the original GameCube Twilight Princess, Link was left-handed.
Right.
When they released it on the Wii, they flip-flopped the entire game.
For the motion control.
Most people played with the Wii remote in their right hand, and it just more natural. Then Skyward Sword, they made him right-handed and built the game around it.
Right. So I think my tiny little addition to that is for folks who still love Link as a left-handed hero, or people
get over it.
Left-handed, they get over it. Fuck that. I think that
he is a fictional character. Get over it.
Well, let's talk to Lucas about a canon timeline here, and we'll see who's going to get over it. I think that they should, or may, I doubt it, but have the ability to switch Link's, like completely flop his character without flopping the entire world. Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, but they did that for Twilight Princess, didn't they? They flipped.
They flopped the entire world. And as a matter of fact, the sun rises in the west and sets it. They literally mirrored the entire game.
So just take the asset of just his character and be able to mirror that without flopping the whole world.
I think the problem with doing that, and the reason they flopped the whole game, is the side that his sword is on comes into play in the way you interact with objects, and it was probably too complicated to situate objects and stuff, and it's so much easier to just flip the whole thing. But
the majority of the world is right-handed, so they might. Yeah,
and was there a day-night cycle in Skyward Sword? I can't remember, or was it just always day?
I don't remember.
No, there was a day-night cycle because I remember exploring Skyloft. I don't know if there was in the underworld though. The ground.
Oh yeah, when you go to
underwear.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but. Okay, well,
either way,
I'm all on board for that prediction. Yes, please give me that. All right, so I guess we're all out of order. So I don't know if one of you guys wants to take next, or if I should go next, but I don't have a.
The two that I have left have nothing to do with anything anybody has mentioned yet tonight, except Steve kind of alluded to something. So I got nothing to segue off of.
We haven't heard from.
Okay. Yeah, so me then?
That's you?
Yeah, and I might be able to segue off of you.
Well, because I know Eugene likes talking about Minecraft, let's get a Smash announcement in there. Minecraft Steve is going to be announced as the Summer Smash Brothers character.
I'm not against it, but I'm not excited about it.
He's already been in a leak. I really want a Minecraft Steve amiibo, even if this is my pie in the sky prediction, which I think it is.
What's his neutral B?
What?
What is his
Can you
neutral
speak
B?
English?
What is his neutral B, Steve?
Neutral B, you're
What's
not
Link's
moving and you
neutral
press
B?
the sword slash. Neutral B is
so
you are standing still button. So for Mario, it would be a fireball. For Link, it would be I guess Link is the arrow, right?
So he uses a sword, or he can use a bow and arrow. Either way,
or I think that they would.
Okay, all right. I would sooner see Steve as a trophy.
No.
We get some other Microsoft-owned characters that have more relation to Nintendo as a playable character. Not naming any games or anything.
Your prediction. My prediction is
You're wrong.
Minecraft Steve.
It could be anything.
I don't care if I'm wrong. Minecraft Steve. My
You usually don't, and you usually are.
Yep.
God.
Just look at the
I-
Nintendo stores.
Steve, so if Minecraft Steve becomes a thing, that might be the only thing that gets me to play Minecraft. If Minecraft Steve becomes
In
a
any
thing.
capacity, it would just be Steve in Smash.
Hey,
Well, no, I was
That-
actually
well,
talking to
here's-
I was talking to Justin the other day, actually pre-show. I might pick up the Minecraft story mode, like if I.
Oh, for the love of God.
Oh no!
I like Telltale games.
If you're gonna play, come play with us. That's a cop out, man.
Yeah, I mean, part of what makes Minecraft fun is the community aspect of it. Like,
yeah.
Sure.
it's like, especially now that we have realms and anybody can drop in and out at any time. Like either go all in on it or just decide you're never gonna play it because.
Eugene, I gotta throw this in there. Minecraft Steve may get me to play Smash Brothers again.
Well, there you go.
Just throwing that out there.
You never did play Smash Brothers. You just spectated.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
You're a lurker. You're a Smash lurker.
Oh,
And I think that's what
Minecraft we
Eugene
call
would
them
be.
creepers.
Yeah, that's what I would be, right? I would be on the top of the largest mountain in Brample Plamp, and
You
I would
can't be on the top of the largest mountain. That's where I'm
Stamp.
building my mansion.
God.
There's a lot of large mountains. Do you know you're in the tallest?
I'm in the tallest that I found in the limited amount of time I spent looking for one. I also picked one near our village so I could steal things.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking about Minecraft a little bit more in this episode, so I'm going to move it right along to my prediction number 4. I predict, and Minus, I hope you're listening here. I predict that Camelot comes out. It's been what, 2 years now since Aces. That was the last game that they've worked on. They're
Mario.
working. No. We're talking RPG, and we're talking Golden Sun 4 or Golden Sun.
No, Mario Golf is an RPG.
No, we don't want Mario Golf. We want Golden Sun. We want the newest version of Golden Sun on the Switch. And on top of that, I don't know that this is necessarily going to happen, but I think
Golden Sun. I want Mario Golf.
Well, guess what, Justin? This is not your prediction. This is my prediction. So, motherfucker, we're getting Golden Sun, and they're going to announce that there's a Golden Sun trilogy coming along with it because of all the older games, so then we can get caught up on the older Golden Sun games. Not necessarily like in a virtual console release, but, like something that you can buy on the side, maybe like as a digital download.
I could buy your mom on the side.
Then there it is.
138, everybody. 136, pardon me.
I needed
All
a
right,
new ringtone
Justin.
for my phone. So
Since you're poo-pooing all over my prediction, what's your number 4 prediction?
I'm not poo-pooing all over it. I just don't care.
Well, we're gonna put
I've never played Golden Sun, so it has absolutely no relevance whatsoever. That is my Minecraft. All right. Let's see. I can go with my prediction number 2 or my prediction number 3.
2.5,
4.
4, 5, 9.
368 and
All right.
2
I'm
days.
just gonna. This would have been the next one on my list if I went in order. So, it's kind of a dumb announcement, but I know they've done it in the past, but they also have not done it in the past. But I think we're going to get a Sword and Shield dual pack announced. Like when they give us our information dump on Pokemon, they're going to
Okay.
say, and also you can buy both of them together in this beautiful shiny steel case for you insane people who don't realize that it's the exact same fucking game with just slightly different furry things in it.
You don't.
You would have to
think
make it
that'll
a
be
really
announced
good
on the
deal.
6th.
Oh, sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
You don't think that'll be announced on the 6th at the Pokemon Direct?
Ah, fuck! I forgot there was gonna be. Pokemon. All right, and skip me. No. All right,
And,
okay.
Okay.
I've got another one. I'll do my number 3.
Okay.
I mean, Nintendo is going to have, besides the Smash Amiibo, which we know are coming, I think Nintendo is going to tell us something else that has an amiibo tied to it that's going to have some sort of significant functionality. We might see a new set, a new collection, probably almost undoubtedly we're going to see something for Link's Awakening. Amiibo's not dead. Nintendo is going to continue using it. And yeah, maybe we might finally get that game, that Amiibo game we all wanted, but I know they're going to continue making them because, let's face it, even though they don't have a whole lot of functionality, crazy people like Steve and me will still buy them. Because, they look cool.
And
I'll be right back
and
after
I
you
think
get a
Amiibo are dead because they haven't even put them in Mario Maker because they suck. Sorry.
Don't
Nintendo.
remind me.
I hope you're listening. But I'm
That-
really pissed off about that.
It doesn't bother me none. Like I saw you
I
guys
have a
all getting all
binder
up
and
in
2
arms
toy
about like.
boxes full of Amiibo.
I didn't
The fuck am I gonna do with these things now?
display them like everybody else has. No, I mean, like,
Amiibo sales.
I'm upset about the lack of Amiibo support in Mario Maker, and I'm hoping that's something they'll patch in later, especially since a lot of the assets already exist. Just, drag from Mario Maker 1, drop in Mario Maker 2. That's all you got to do. Like,
Right click, rename, export. Got it.
Exactly. I mean, you've already have the art assets and everything like that. I don't know why they can't reuse them. But I don't know, like, every time we think Amiibo is dead, they release another one. So, I think something that comes out this year, Nintendo's going to say, hey, guess what? We've got new Amiibo for it as well. And, I think they like them too much. I think we like them too much. We're still buying them. When the Smash ones come out, they still disappear from shelves. So
Sure.
Justin is very passionate
I'm
about it.
buying them twice. I'm buying them for the figure and the card.
Yeah, I
Sure.
forgot
Okay,
about
well,
that.
you're not. No offense to our sponsor here, but that's not the same as buying 2 Amiibo
it's
from
not.
Nintendo.
It's true.
Sure. Cool. Well, we're on to our final predictions. Does anybody want to take first on their final ones?
Before we do, can you give me like 30 seconds to plug my computer in?
Sure.
Jeez, Justin, what kind of Mickey Mouse operation are we running here?
Hey,
I see what you did there.
my fault. I have to use my
Heyo! Before we started, I went around my house and I unplugged all of my Google Home so nothing else was using my Wi-Fi. And I told my wife to turn off the Wi-Fi on her phone. I prepared myself. My computer's plugged in.
Dude, I'm hardwired to a 1 gig circuit and I'm still getting fucking lag.
Well, get your shit
I
together.
don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Justin, I'll make you a show preparation checklist if you want.
Yes, please. We'll turn it into a shirt for him.
Okay, the shirt says, give me 30 seconds to plug in my computer.
Okay, so yeah, Mickey Mouse Operation, that's a board game I would totally buy, by the way.
Oh, God.
What the hell's the matter with you, you sadistic bastard?
Oh,
I have Shrek Operation. Why can't I have Mickey Mouse Operation?
Yeah, but he's an ogre. He's like an onion.
Yeah, that's true.
Ogre lives matter too, Steve. Come on.
Jeez. All right, let's finish this out.
Oh dear God.
Well, like I was saying, does anybody want to take first, or shall I just roll right into my final prediction?
I'll go.
I still have to come up with my last one, so go ahead.
My last one I'm gonna play pretty safe. We know Bayonetta's 3 is far along in development. I'm thinking that's gonna be our November game.
Okay.
So you think so?
Well, okay.
Easy.
I mean, yeah, that seems fair to me. All right, fair.
Steve just wants another
Yeah,
game
I mean-
with sexy female protagonists. That's all.
Well, I own the first 2 and I haven't even booted them up yet.
Oh, well
But
then.
I'm all for a good,
I've
sexy
gotten
female
halfway.
protagonist.
I finished Bayonetta 1 on the Wii U. I got about halfway through Bayonetta 2 and then kind of fizzled out, so I still have to finish that.
Fair. All right, well, I'm
Not
gonna
that
go
the
next.
story's that important. It makes no freaking sense.
Oh,
It's
now-
not about the story. You don't play for the story.
So I'm
Hey,
going to
play
go
for the
next.
timeline.
It's not necessarily piggybacking off of Bayonetta or anything like that. However, it should make you happy here, Steve. So as I've
Piggybacking off of Bayonetta. God, there's just so many things wrong with it.
as I've said already in the show, Nintendo seems to kind of not necessarily have a lot of big things right now to announce on this show. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to fill in with a bunch of little things. So as they've been partnering up with, the Cadence of Hyrule, for example, to give Zelda out to other developers, I think that we are going to hear from a familiar friend, and we're going to hear an announcement of Hyrule Warriors 2. And because it seems like
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought.
it seems like the Switch version of Hyrule Warriors just like sold tremendously, right? And it seemed out of nowhere.
Yes, but Steve bought most of those copies.
Well, right. It had no right to sell as well as it did, right? Like, it's a game that's already come out.
Steve didn't
the 3DS.
actually play the game for 400 hours. He bought 4 copies and played it for 100 hours each.
Yeah, right. But yeah,
I
no,
buy
really, like
400 copies and play
that
them each for
game
an
came
hour.
out on the Wii U. It came out on the 3DS. It came out again on the
Right.
Switch, and it sold gangbusters. So it only makes sense for another version to come out, and I think Hyrule Warriors 2 is a no-brainer.
So
I
I'm
would
not gonna
rather
lie, Eugene. That was almost my 5th prediction.
Okay.
I would rather see
I'm
them
not
do
even joking.
another Muso game in a different franchise and just kind of see what they can do as they bounce around from genre to or from franchise to franchise. Because I don't know what else they could do with a Hyrule Warriors besides more of the same, which I guess is what the Warriors series is anyway.
Yeah,
so.
like give it just another
6 of one,
cookie
half
story,
dozen of the other.
More moblins. That's all.
I was gonna say, you give me the same game with a similar story and an expanded roster. Oh wait, that's just Smash Brothers. Yeah, sell it to me again.
Well, but what could they do though?
See it
Justin,
for
right?
Smash.
They already have the engine, but they can add potentially like more enemy types and different bosses and like
Well,
like,
that's
So they do another set of timelines. So you throw in, like all those DLC timelines that or not timelines, but the adventure maps. They could turn those each into different branches of the timeline. So you could have a Link's Awakening timeline with, enemies from Link's Awakening, and, maybe you fight the Nightmare from the end of that game as the final boss in that area, or a mini-boss in that area, or whatever. You do a section from Majora's Mask. You do a section from Breath of the Wild, because it would be kind of cool to see that in the Warriors style, too.
oh, that's true because
would
that
be
came out before
really easy.
pre-Warriors.
It's almost copy and paste at that point. It's just different skins. So yeah, sign me up. I want it. And yeah, I didn't want to predict it because I, didn't want to get my hopes up. And
Well, you're
now you
welcome.
gone got my hopes up.
You're welcome.
Well, Steve, I really
Sure.
need Lucas to jump on here so we can just be buddies on this. But I feel like you saying that we need an expanded roster is just going to start creating more and more non-canon characters that we don't need. And then all of your different timelines that you're putting in there, they're just going to have to go back and retcon everything. And just because of Hyrule Warriors 2,
Well,
you're going to have to adjust
to
the
be
book.
fair,
Not to get too deep into this, but Hyrule Warriors is already considered non-canon, so there.
which is rather amusing to me because it does a better job of explaining the timeline than the Historia does.
Does it though?
So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah. It's still got the split timeline theory. It merges together at the end of the story. It all works.
I hate it.
I'm liking this theory here. All right, so as long as we're talking about
Lucas will
Zelda,
back me on that.
I'll do my last prediction. My prediction is the Zelda CDI games HD remastered.
Oh,
No!
God.
Oh
No,
my
okay.
God!
No, okay.
All right.
I'm
Eugene,
like typing in the show notes and
fuck
everything.
that.
You're
I'm
fired.
I'm not going that ridiculous. Although I would buy it.
Of course you would.
No. I decided to kind of piggyback off of my last prediction. I think we're going to see more Labo, and I think Nintendo's going to do more with Labo VR, and I think they're going to do a better job of kind of using the Labo VR as it is to create experiences that work well within it. Because pretty much every review, I've put limited time into Labo VR because I just haven't had the time. But from what I've been hearing from a lot of people, Labo VR, like the games that are contained within it, are good and fun and work. Yeah, Breath of the Wild VR, not so much. Mario Odyssey VR, okay, not a whole lot to do. But the actual Labo VR experience is actually good. And I think Nintendo's going to double down on that and give us like a Labo VR 2 with more fleshed out experiences that are catered to the device they already have.
So by that, are you saying that you're thinking that they're going to come out with an entirely new set with a new cart inside with all new games? Or are you saying that you think that there's just going to be expansion packs with more cardboard and then DLC for what we already have?
I don't know, because my prediction kind of split somewhere in the middle, because I do believe with the success of Labo VR, we are going to see more Labo sets that aren't Labo VR. Like we'll see a Kit 5 that's something else that we didn't know we wanted, because that's what Nintendo does.
Right.
But I think that while they are releasing more kits, they will also kind of expand upon what they built with Labo VR and maybe like combine the driving set with the VR set and give us Mario Kart 8 VR with, you know, the pedals and the steering wheel. Like, I think Nintendo's going to take what they already have with Labo, combine it with, you know, other things and create like this like Uber VR build your own Frankenstein's monster of VR interactive cardboard gaming. I don't think Labo is dead. I think they're at least going to release one more kit for it.
Okay, and
that's fair.
And maybe streamline what they already have in the VR.
It's funny too, because I was listening to some podcast or watching some YouTube channel or something, but apparently they've already shown a lot of the VR stuff when they initially showed Labo in some of the videos, and we just didn't realize that it was for VR. So I think you might be onto something there, Justin, that they've had a plan for Labo all along, and they're just going to kind of stick through it, you know?
I just saw some third-party developer that announced a VR experience for Switch the other day. I just don't remember who or what it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, is like it's like a Rumble Pack. It's like you know, an amiibo or whatever. Like the Nintendo, what Nintendo likes to do is create the device, put it out there, and see what other developers will do with it. And like 9 times out of 10, other developers completely ignore it. But
sometimes you get a Rumble Pack.
Yeah. And
sometimes you get a
fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you it is hit or miss in all seriousness. But like, if you get something, a lot of people who didn't care about the other Labo kits bought a Labo VR because I thought it would be neat. And I think other companies are going to come in and be like, hey, people have this thing. Let's do something with it. Like either, you know, modify. Like I think with Labo VR, you could potentially turn the Switch into the next 3DS. You know, you've got 3D technology right there now. You know, it's low res, but so is the 3DS.
Sure.
Well, even if we're combining predictions here, even if they were to put out some sort of Switch Mini and then add in some sort of VR with that, it may be easier to handle than a giant Switch right in your face. If you get a smaller screen, almost like the plastic clips that they had for the VR, you just stick your phone in there, and that's a much smaller screen. It's much more manageable.
I mean, I don't want to keep on building on this prediction, but Virtual Console for a Virtual Boy on Labo VR. I want that. That's another thing Nintendo can reach into my pocket. I would buy Labo VR
for that, actually. I definitely would.
Like, yeah, I mean, like if I could play the original Mario's Tennis and Red Alarm and all those things all over again without having to pay to get my Virtual Boy or Virtual Boys fixed, that'd be great.
Sure.
Virtual Boy 2.0. This time, it doesn't burn your retinas.
Or does it? All right,
No, it
Brian,
just
I
makes
think
your
you're
motion
about
sick.
ready to take us home with your final prediction. So why don't you hit us with
All
that?
right, this is my last one here. I just laid my head down on my desk because I thought that you were going to steal my last prediction, Eugene. But thankfully you didn't. My last prediction is, I mean, with the like reveal of Cadence of Hyrule, I think that Nintendo is going to be working a lot more with indie developers, especially since we have so many more of these nindies coming. And I think what they're going to at least mention is more indie games with Nintendo licenses. I think if there is any sort of any new kind of kart racing game, they threw Mario in there or whatever it is, just like something like Cadence of Hyrule, where they're going to take some license and then put some sort of small piece of that into it in indie game.
Hell, let the Axiom Verge people make the next Metroid or something like that. Like stuff like that. I would be all
Okay,
for.
see, and see, this is where I'm going to disagree. I don't want to see somebody who already makes a Metroid knockoff make a Metroid game. Let them, what? Let's see.
People that made knockoffs of the Sonic games made Sonic Mania.
What knockoffs of Sonic games did they make?
Like mods, I
They
think, right?
remade the original game in their own engine and made it run better. And Sega saw that and they're like, hey, maybe we ought to start letting these guys make Sonic games. And it made the best Sonic game that has been out in years.
I mean, I played it.
So I'm with Brian on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eugene played it.
But they
Eugene
basically
played
made,
Sonic.
they basically made the Sonic Genesis games all over again. They didn't iterate on it. They didn't improve on it or anything. It was just like, here's more of the same, which is good.
Just it.
They did a good job. They did a good job on it.
That's exactly what they wanted.
But Nintendo, that's not what Nintendo wants. And personally, that's not what I want. If we're going to get a new Metroid game, I want to see Nintendo say, all right, here's a new Metroid game, and it's going to do something you don't expect. Not, here's somebody who already copied a game we already made, and then they're just going to copy it back into the game we already made.
I mean, who's to say that?
So
then
we wait 20 years for another good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather play a
years
Metroid game than wait for years and years and years and whispers of Metroid Dread to get another 2D Metroid game.
Well, and that's what I was saying about bringing in the Cadence of Hyrule and the remaster of Link's Awakening is they're putting out small things to build more interest in the franchise. So, like Justin, like you said, we would much rather play a brand new Metroid game, however small it is, just to have the ability to be able to do that instead of some cheap knockoff or just a port of the game.
And I was actually, this is actually something I was hoping Nintendo would do anyway, because they used to do the same thing when they had two systems.
Right.
Hey, we don't have enough time or resources to build a full 3D console entry in this series, but in a few months we can throw together a portable version of it and it will sell just as well. So we'll put it on the Game Boy Advance, we'll put it on the DS, 3DS, whatever. Like, now that the Switch is kind of the one and only, like, I would like to see, I was happy when they announced Link's Awakening, because I was hoping for a top-down Zelda on the Switch.
Right.
I'd like to see more of that, which is, again, goes back into my Metroid 2D prediction from earlier.
Hey, Brian, how this comes from Phantom in the chat.
Yeah.
How do you feel about giving the Metroid license to Image and Form Games?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter who it goes to. I mean, yeah, that'd be great. Yes, I will say yes, that would be great. But it doesn't matter who it goes to. They just need to do a damn good job. You know, it could be. That's the reason why Nintendo canceled the whole project in the first place, is because it wasn't going to be a good game. And that's Nintendo. If Nintendo can see that they're putting out a piece of shit, then sorry, Eugene. If Nintendo can see that they're putting out a piece of shit, sorry, Eugene, then they're going to cancel the whole project and they're going to start over.
But going back to like the indie things, and one of the reasons why I don't want to see like somebody like Axiom Verge developers do Metroid is, look at what Nintendo has done. They said, here is a rhythm-based, procedurally generated, whatever kind of game, rhythm, I already said rhythm-based. Whatever kind of a game Crypt of the Necrodancer is, let's
Sure.
give them a Zelda license. Now, those two things should not go together.
Oh, they
But
don't.
But they're
But
going
they
to.
do.
That's what I love. Like, I wanted to see Nintendo say, "Hey, here is a developer that makes a really good game that doesn't Metroid, Mario, whatever. Let's give this license to them and see what they can do with it that is completely different from what we would ever think to do with it." DDR Mario mix, give me more of that.
I'm totally with you on that, but why not both? Like, I don't see why. And like, I know what you're gonna say on this because I already know how you feel about these games, Justin. But remember when Capcom had the Zelda license and we got like 3 top-down Zelda games in the span of like a decade? I want that again. Like, maybe they're not gonna be quite as good as a Nintendo-made one, but at least we're getting a Metroid title again in a 2D form. Like, and we might be getting we might be getting too much in the weeds on like drilling down on the Metroid, but like to your point, Brian, like maybe give Animal Crossing to like some weird developer on mobile and let it make a jewel matching game like
game.
All I Bejeweled or something like that, or a board game like you said. Yeah,
Like
something like that.
Hands for another mobile Animal Crossing.
Yeah, well, maybe bad example there, but yeah, like let's these IPs are beloved, right? Like let's use them and let's not to a point where we're rubbing them in the dirt, like you said, Brian, but like maybe
like if Nintendo doesn't like it, they won't release it. So
right. Well, I understand what they did with Capcom and how they pushed out the games, but at this point, it almost just makes me dirty to play a Zelda that isn't Nintendo. And I don't know how I feel about Crypt of the Necrodancer in the first place. It's almost like I understand that this was my prediction. It's mostly just Zelda for me. I mean, I'm wearing a fucking Zelda shirt. It's just Zelda specifically for me to see a game that's made by somebody else that makes me feel dirty. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I
do you feel dirty too, Justin?
I taking the question seriously, I go both ways on that, because on one hand, yes, I do think the Capcom developed Zelda games, for example, are inferior to the Nintendo made ones, but on the other hand, I'm kind of with Eugene, where I would rather see a B tier game in a beloved franchise that is really good. Maybe not groundbreaking,
sure,
but really good, and as a stopgap until the big one comes out.
So then I guess again, so specifically to that point, we just need to wait and see how good Crypt of the Necrodancer actually is. Because if they can prove that to us, that a second party or third party can make a beloved Zelda game, then I mean we should be in the clear. But again, it depends on who's making it.
Yeah, right. Like we're not gonna just give it to any old person, right? But like maybe give it. Oh my God, Steven, give Yacht Club the Zelda franchise, but make them make a Zelda 2 game.
Yes.
Side-scrolling. Side-scrolling Zelda. I would buy the shit out of that. Sorry, Eugene.
Eugene, you just sold Justin on the idea that he's been fighting for 10 minutes.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
and
but
me too.
But here's the thing. Like, I want a remake of Zelda 2 anyway, but give it to somebody who is competent at doing 2D platformers. But Shovel Knight isn't a Zelda game. Shovel Knight isn't even a Zelda 2 game per se. It shares elements in like some of the moves and the leveling up system, but like it's still not saying, hey, you made a game just like ours, now make ours.
Yeah.
Right.
But the excitement that you just got when Eugene said that gives merit to Brian's original idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is all I've been trying to argue this whole time.
Right.
Like I said.
All right. Well, we've been talking E3 for days and days and days, and we can talk for days and days longer, but we are not gonna. We're gonna take a little break, and we will be right back.
All right, I'll be right back because
Because what?
Don't leave me hanging, Justin. Wow. Hello, Twitch.
Doing
All
it.
right, we're gonna
Doing it,
come back
wow.
to you with an
Doing it,
abbreviated change the system.
Doing it,
Justin's
wow.
talking, but
Doing
ignore
it,
him.
doing it, wow.
He's,
I represent Queen.
you know what? In
Praise heaven.
fact,
Just
muted
muted me,
him.
Fiend.
That's fine. He doesn't know. You're muted. It's great. We're gonna start the music, and
That's
here we
fine. Just do to him what you did to me. Just kick him off the show. It's fine. It's fine.
go. Here comes the music.
Step right up, Kongs. Now is your chance to get your suggestion in for Swanky's Bonus Bonanza over at patreon.com/Infendo Radio.
All right, and
What was
we are back. It is change the system time, kind of. We are gonna let our guest talk about the games he's been playing this week, because obviously we went a little long with our E3 predictions, as we knew we would. But we want to give Brian a little chance to talk about the games he's been playing, and Steve to inevitably talk about Minecraft.
Gene, I have to tell you that you made a mistake by letting me this section. So take a guess at what I've been playing.
Ooh, pick me. Shovel Knight.
Home Improvement.
Oh God, Home Improvement. My life would be so complete. All right. Well, I should have been track of the timers, but I have been playing a shit ton of Minecraft. A shit ton of Minecraft. And you know who's been there with me? Steve. The whole time. The best part of this was the weekend that we had. It was a long weekend. I wasn't at work. I stayed out of the office. I closed my computer because I didn't want to be bothered.
It was a long weekend for me too, because I had to
Well,
work
in a different
weekend.
sense, it was a very long weekend for you. And being able to sit there and work with Steve while he was sitting there at the tent sale, essentially doing nothing, because that's his job, to do nothing. This guy gets to sit around and do nothing all day.
Dude, flawless tent.
That's what we all do.
Flawless tent.
Regardless of the
yeah.
rain and the hail and everything.
Doesn't matter. He's still got internet in that tent.
Yeah. I Tuesday morning, I told my wife that it was so hard for me to go back to work after the previous 2 days, not joking, at least 12 hours a day playing Minecraft.
You're kidding me.
I'm not joking.
No, he's not.
I'm not joking.
He was in there as much as I was.
I don't think I've played games like that since Grand Theft Auto Vice City came out. Maybe San Andreas, but that's the last time I remember actually playing games that long continuously, the same game.
My only other top hours spent in the game is Breath of the Wild, and I think that I am very quickly approaching that with Minecraft. I think I've got 235 hours into Breath of the Wild, and last time I checked, I was at like 155 with Minecraft.
Strangely enough, I still only have 5 hours in Minecraft on Switch, despite the amount of time I've spent in it with you.
But the first thing that you did was go clear out the top of a mountain, then left.
To be fair, I have very limited gameplay time.
Right, yeah. Well, my thing that I'm spending so much time on is just unlike you and unlike Steve, who is it? EP, who's doing the mountain?
Yeah, CP's doing the mountain.
So instead of you guys where you're kind of, building up from that mountain, I'm actually building down. So my first space goes into this mountain that I've turned into a volcano with like smoke on the top and everything. It's got like a launch pad where Steve made me my rail. From Eugene, just close your Zoom chat. You can leave now. My little rail goes to my launch pad, so I can ride back and forth. And then I made a tunnel from there, staircase all the way down that goes back into the main spot. And then now, look at it, he dropped. There he is.
We're still talking. Oh, no, I'll be back. I'm sorry.
So I moved from basically like the basement level, I would say, and I made another tunnel to another hill, and then completely cleared out all of that hill. Okay. I can't speak too much about it because I'm still waiting to surprise Steve. I'm very excited. Ooh, it gives me joy. But basically, just I cleared out the entire inside of another mountain, and it's very tedious work. But somebody's got to do it. So that guy might as well be me. You know what I'm talking about?
I will say that the cool thing about Minecraft, and I've never played it, but it's super cool that all of y'all can just go in and just kind of do your own thing, live in the same world, and
I'm saying.
Yeah,
and the even better part about it is not only are we in there and we're all there, we may be in completely separate places, but it's almost like a kickball game between friends. You know what I mean? Everybody's at a house, everybody's doing their own thing, but when one guy needs help with something, like
everybody's there.
Yeah, everybody's there. Everybody comes to help. If we're clearing out, what Hellhound, Steve?
Yeah.
If we're clearing out a water temple that we found, and we're doing nothing but putting sponges around so we can get the water out, everybody comes to help, and everybody grabs a sponge, and we all get the water out.
That's incredible.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, or like I took out 2 of the 3 Elder Guardians there, and then he went in and killed the 3rd one, and
right.
Then I brought the stuff to build a conduit, and then, he started hollowing it out. Like, it's this whole community thing, and it goes one step further than what Brian's saying. It's not even so much that we're all in the same world and we're all on the same team and helping each other out and whatnot. It's more the fact that we're all in different states on different platforms.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Like... Me and Justin, well, Justin plays mostly on, I think, Xbox One now. EP is
I will.
PC.
If I'm playing on the TV, I usually will play it on the Xbox One, and then when I'm ready to go to bed, I'll log in on my Switch and play it. Yeah, play on the Switch, and just like that, like no.
Right,
like,
Brian, what's
the time it takes to turn one off and turn the other on?
What's that, Steve?
Yeah. Brian, what's your platform of choice that you play?
Oh, I'm always on Switch. I'm all Switch all the time, baby. I'll tell you that. But
I'm mostly. I was gonna say I'm mostly on Switch. I will occasionally pull out my iOS controller.
Sure.
EP's on PC.
Yeah.
Brennan got it through Game Pass on Xbox Live for free.
Sure.
Yeah,
like
me
we're
too.
all just in completely different places, but we all just kind of come together. It's in the same realm. It doesn't matter who's
better
on
together.
Well, and it's exactly like Justin just said. I'm not switching platforms, but if I'm playing on the TV and then like my wife wants me to come up to bed with because she needs somebody to cuddle with because I'm a cuddle buddy. I mean, so I'll go ahead and I'll tell Steve, hey, no voice chat tonight, and I'll roll with my Switch and I'll just
that's another great thing is like I almost never join in the voice chat because I'm usually playing with my fiance asleep on the couch behind me. But all I got to do is I've got a wireless USB keyboard. I pull that out. I go into the text chat and I type out what I want to say, send it in. Everybody who's playing the game can see it and respond to me in there or whatever. And then we got Discord.
Right, and if I'm going back and forth on just the text chat, I'll take my Switch out of the dock so I can do my touchscreen with my little keyboard. You do.
Yeah.
By the way, Switch dock, awesome. Like
I missed half of what you said.
You can plug a USB keyboard or a USB wireless dongle for a keyboard into the port on the Switch and use a keyboard to type, and that's like platform wide, whether you're entering text in Minecraft chat or codes into the eShop or something into a search window. Like that has been the greatest thing. Like I bought that thing for Minecraft.
No shit. I wish I would have known that a long time ago.
I knew that. I just haven't made it to Best Buy to buy one, so I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Don't even go to Best Buy. Go to Walmart. I bought mine at Walmart.com or the stores will price match Walmart. Well, I guess I didn't get this from Walmart. Never mind. Forget what I just said. But I got mine off of
Best Buy's
Amazon.
closer and I get rewards. But anyway.
For those of us who have a Prime account linked to our Amazon Prime account, we can go ahead and just order one here tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
But like Amazon. I bought mine off of Amazon. There was a different keyboard that I bought from Walmart, but it's got a little wireless dongle USB. You plug it in, switch the keyboard on, put it in your lap, and when you need to type something, you got it right there. And
Hey, Eugene, I'm sorry. Go
Amazon,
ahead,
Best Buy,
Justin.
Walmart. If you want to sponsor us, please do.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Amazon. We have a connection. We can get an Amazon sponsor, right?
Sure.
Amazon-
Why not?
Amazon doesn't even pay their
Person I'm
employees,
referring
dog.
to. You know who you are.
Straight to Jeff Bezos is what you're saying, right? Hey, Eugene, just real quick side note. Can you do me a favor and can you make Justin saying dongle in your lap a piece like a soundbite that we can use?
I already asked for I pull that out.
Man, that's what I'm talking about,
I
baby.
got some work to do on this episode, don't I? Well,
Yeah,
in-
take us alone.
I
I'm
was
gonna kill you.
swear as much as I possibly could.
We're gonna have to get an explicit stamp just for this episode.
before
That-
Luigi interrupts you, is there anything else, Minecraft or otherwise, you want to talk about?
I think that's it, man. I'm a couple of games on my backlog that I've looked at. Haven't scrolled right past them. Take a guess why? Minecraft.
Yeah. Hey, Eugene, put 60 seconds on the clock. I do have one thing I want to talk about.
Oh
The
boy.
PowerA,
Some
the
OT
PowerA controller that has the programmable buttons on the back. If you play Minecraft, you need this. It's $40, but it has the 2 programmable buttons on the back there. If you program that to your 2 C-stick buttons, L3 and
Oh my
R3,
god, I never even
the
thought
left-
about that.
the left,
Yep.
yeah, the left one becomes run, the right one becomes crouch. Minecraft is perfect on this controller.
I might have to
Review
buy one.
over.
I've been debating on those.
5 out
for
of
a
5.
while.
Yeah. It's I've
5 out of
exact
5.
same one, the Zelda design and everything like that. And Justin, one of the best parts about it is that it's double A's. It's not rechargeable. So if your controller dies, mine has many times, you don't have to stop playing and put it on the charger. You just switch the batteries out. Again, Amazon. I bought. Let me see.
I prefer that. Everybody complains about the fact that Microsoft controllers are AA powered. I've got rechargeable AA's. I've got
Now it needs a
rechargeable
new
AA's. I
keyboard.
swapped them out. Whereas I have a PS3 controller that I can't use anymore because it doesn't hold the charge.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And Steve is right. Those remappable buttons are the best thing in the world, because when we were having our head challenge between all of us,
Oh yeah.
I remapped one of the buttons on the back to the shoot. So I just held that down while I was playing and just constantly run and gun the entire time and didn't have to think about like moving my hands to.
Right. That's not a bad idea, actually.
Man, great investment
map
for what,
one to
$40,
shoot,
Steve?
one to switch weapons. Yeah, $40.
Is it
Yep.
as good as a Pro controller? Does it have motion
Yes.
and all the things?
It has motion. It just
has-
doesn't have.
It has. Yeah, it has
sorry,
no
Steve,
rumble,
stepping all
no
over.
amiibo. You're fine. You're fine. No rumble, no amiibo. Everything else is there.
The rumble might be a.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but
But I mean, for like stuff like Minecraft, you're really not concerned with feeling a vibration
Yeah,
when you
that's
hit the
true.
ground from
No.
too high up. I mean, it's that kind of.
No, that's just a kick in the ass at that
I
point.
mean,
I'll tell you what,
sometimes-
Eugene, I owe
sometimes
you
it
a
is-
wedding gift.
Sometimes it is nice
Aw.
to know when something's attacking you from behind, though. So I can kind
Sure.
of understand that.
But you just hear the.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. Awesome. Cool. Well, I think we made it to the end of the segment, and now we've made it to the end of the show. It is time to get out of here for the night. But before we do, it's time to talk about our patrons, because we love them, and we can't wait to thank them for yet another month of supporting Infendo Radio. So I'm just going to read the list real quick. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, because honestly, without you guys, we probably wouldn't be here. So we would like to thank Andrew Searson, the Brianosaurus. You're right there. I like you. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
That's me. That's guys.
Sky Pharaoh, Phantom, EP Knothead, Slacker Monkey, Schnazzy1, -64, Robert Gagnon, Mark Nowak, Malik Emeris, Michael Larson, Heather White, Metal Mike, Daniel Gaskin, Jonathan Lewis, Mustard Giant Cow, and Apollo Lemon. Again, thank you for being a patron. Thank you for being part of the show. So, one more time, Steve is going to talk to you about the contest that we're running. Still have a few, I guess, like 72 hours to still enter, so talk to people about that.
Yeah. Hours at this point, guys. Last chance to enter the contest. I'll put out a couple things on Twitter over the next day or two. But yeah, just $10 level or higher, or $4.99 or higher if you subscribe to us on Twitch.
Or a free Amazon sub if you're an
cannot
Amazon
wait
Prime
to
member.
mail these out to somebody. Yeah.
Easiest thing in the world to
Looking
do.
forward. Yeah, looking forward to mailing these out. Seriously, guys. Like, I'm so sick of looking at this set. I want someone else to be able to enjoy it. Because it's really hard to enjoy 2 full sets of cards.
I can only imagine that, Steve, you've just been scanning those every time you've played anything. You're taking advantage before you give them away.
I just want to send these out because these are so cool, and I know that someone's going to be so happy to get these.
Definitely. Awesome.
I want to
So,
detect a Pikachu.
we are going to get out of here for the night, though. We won't see you until next month. But until then, Justin, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at InfendoJustin. You can find my Disney tweets at Utilidork. And I'm gonna throw this out there. My Switch friend code is in my Infendo profile. And if you want to play games with me on Xbox Live, since I've been on the Xbox a lot more lately, Fear the Claw. 3 separate words. Fear the Claw on Xbox. Hey, maybe we can play some Perfect Dark online. I would love that.
That would be
Or Minecraft.
interesting.
Or Minecraft.
God. Steve, where can the people find you when you're not crafting mines?
Sleeping, because that's about the only time I'm not crafting mines.
Or playing Hyrule Warriors.
Or playing
yeah.
Hyrule Warriors. Yeah, I've been doing that again. Old habits. You can find me at Gentis1 on Twitter. You can find me at Gentis1208 on Xbox Live, so you can find me on Minecraft, which would be amazing. You can find me in the Banful Stamp realm. If you need access to that, hit me up in Discord, and I can do those invites now. Hit up Lucas at Chromatic Hue, or at his website, which is chromatichue.com. Want to throw his name out there. He should be back. We've missed him dearly in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and for those of you in the realm, quick announcement. Saturday night, we're fighting an Ender Dragon. So,
Please,
first 10
yes.
people that can get in the realm get to fight the Ender Dragon, and we're going to stream that shit at
Saturday-
twitch.tv/Infendo.
Saturday night, they will be fighting an Ender Dragon. I will be building my mansion. If somebody can bring me some wood planks that I can use for the flooring, please.
Wrong. You will be with us.
616 wood planks. I don't care what they are as long as they're all the same kind. 660. Bring them to
You're
me.
going to miss the achievement.
So you remember how I said it's kind of like a kickball game where everybody gets together? Justin is the guy who
Everybody's
said.
getting together.
Justin is the guy who says, "My wife says I can't go."
Oh, Justin is the guy who hasn't bought his equipment yet. So, he's still out gathering his equipment. Then he'll join the game.
Fred.
You come over to my place. I will be happy to sit there for 30 minutes while I build you all of the equipment that you need.
I did steal a bunch
This
of
is a
diamond
show
stuff
that
from one of
doesn't
Steve's.
end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
Brian, when
Bye,
you're not
Michelle.
crafting mines and when you're, not being a cool guy in Discord, where can the people find you?
When I'm not interrupting the show every chance that I get. Twitter is for guys who are super cool. I am not on Twitter. So the only place that you can find guys like me is Instagram.
Okay.
I've got some plugs, but we'll plug those plugs at a later plug time. But it's the exact same thing. It's just at the Brian Harris on Instagram. So
Awesome.
yeah, find me. Instagram's for the cool guys who hang out in the corner and smoke cigarettes before high school.
Eugene, I'm gonna need the Infendo Instagram creds so we can follow him and so I can actually see what this Instagram thing's all about.
Yeah, it's been about a year since the last post on Instagram.
If you want it,
I
it's
know
in
where
the
it
Discord.
is. I'm just gonna take it. Hopefully, it doesn't have two-factor.
Yeah, right.
If it
All
does,
right.
you just keep texting Eugene until he lets you in.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right. Well, we are going to get out of here for the night. Thank you, everybody who's listened to us this evening live on twitch.tv/Infendo Radio. Thank you, Brian, for being on the show tonight. It's been a blast finally meeting you and
The pleasure was all
having
mine.
you on the show. And we are going to get out of here. So for everybody on Infendo Radio, good night, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Good night, all.
See you later.
Awesome. All right,
Why?
well, let's say
Because
goodbye.
we like you.
Let's say goodbye to Twitch. We're going to
Bye, Twitch.
Bye, Twitch.
good night, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, Twitch. Seriously.